Hey ladies, I'm Leah and today I'm going to show you a push workout that I absolutely love to do. This is one of 3 workouts which together will target the whole body and they're aimed to be done once a week in any order that suits you. I've designed it to be easily adapted so you can do it as I'm doing it today, or you can do it with the dumbbells, and this will suit you if you're quite new to the gym. I've got the upper and the lower body covered so you can hit the gym with confidence. So if you're ready, let's not waste any time, let's go and get strong AF. So we're going to go into a shoulder press. You want to have your back up, and as you sit down onto it, you want to make sure your bum is pushed firmly against the back of the seat. When you're doing a shoulder press, I always aim to get a nice natural curve in my back, so I don't want to be overarched, but as you come back into the bench, you want to make sure your bum is firmly against the back of the bench and your upper shoulders. Then as you do the shoulder press, you want to be pushing the dumbbells above your head so they meet in the middle but without banging. And then you're bringing them down until you get your elbows at a 90 degrees. As you push up, you're pushing firmly on the floor with your feet, upper back against the bench and straight into it. Now the idea is when you do these, you want to have your elbows just slightly in front of your body, so they're not pushed all the way back like this. And the reason being is if your elbows are pushed too far back, you're going to put too much strain on the shoulder joint. So grab your dumbbells, get your bum back all the way to the seat. I'm quite heavy, so I'm going to give these a bit of a shove up with my knee and get them locked in. Back right against the bench, and I'm going to push up. So control the dumbbells up, and then as you come down, you're immediately thinking about pushing the dumbbells back up again. So as I go into the incline press, I don't want the seat right flat. So I'm just going to bring it up for my bench, it's the first setting. If I go too high, it's going to feel like a shoulder press and I really want to activate the chest. So I'm just going to have it at this angle, which is probably 45-degree angle. Then when I go into the chest press, you'll be sitting down on the bench and you want to come down onto the bench, so instead of having a flat back, you naturally create the arch here just by putting the pressure through the upper part of your back. So we're not Olympic powerlifting, we don't want this massive arch going on. We just want to create something that takes you away from a flat back as you're doing this. If you have a flat back, as you push up, you'll feel your arms will kind of take over this move. So just by creating a bit of a natural arch, just by lifting the rib cage up and putting the weight through the upper part of the back, you'll make sure that you activate the chest muscle. And you can make sure you keep this position by keeping your feet placed firmly on the floor. Now, when you've got your dumbbells, you're going to push up in front of you and you want to make sure the weight is coming above your chest and not above your face. So you're going to be getting your dumbbells and pushing them up into this angle here. When you come down, it's really important that your arms are coming back where they feel natural. So you don't want to bring the dumbbells back and then create a big kind of overextended elbow lift here. And if you struggle with that, you just want to kind of go in front of the mirror and push forward, and then as if you're going to push someone away, come back where your arms are. That's your natural kind of fall back as to where you want your elbow placement to be when you're doing the chest press. When you're coming back, what you don't want to do is as you come down with the dumbbells, especially if they're heavy, over lift this elbow so it comes up high level to your shoulder, because that's going to put a lot of strain through your shoulder joint. So just remember, when you're laying down flat on the bench, you just want your elbows coming down. So again, that's probably about 45 degrees away from my body. So grab your dumbbells and remember, you're going to keep your feet really firm on the floor. You don't want your legs in front of you like this and trying to be all ladylike about it. Just make sure you've got a good wide stance here with your feet, because you're going to need quite a lot of power going through your feet in order to help you lift these dumbbells up above your chest. Now as I go down, I'm going to very quickly get my dumbbells in position and create that natural arch in my back. So I'm going to go down, dumbbells going up, natural arch is being formed, all the way going through the top, dumbbells going straight up. And as I come down, I'm immediately thinking about pushing them back up again. So down and back up over my chest. Now, as I go into the tricep pushdown, I want to make sure that first of all, I'm going to get myself into a position so when the weight becomes hard and I start to struggle, my form doesn't falter. So if you start this exercise and you're standing upright and you start pulling this down, as you get hard, you're likely either going to lean back or crunch forward into it, none of which what we want to do. So by starting off this exercise and getting a nice tight core, I always stand with my knees slightly bent and my bum pushed out just slightly. I don't want to be bent over, but if you just tip your bum back slightly, lift your chest nice and high, you'll have a nice neutral spine, and this is what we aim to keep throughout this exercise. Grab your ropes, and as you come into it, you're gonna pull your upper arm down so it's level with your torso and aim to keep it there throughout the reps. Now, what you don't want to do as you're doing this is allow your upper arms to come up as you're pushing down. To get the most out of this tricep push down, you want to keep your upper arms still, bring your hands down as far as you can, a good squeeze at the bottom, and control the rope coming back up. As soon as you're coming back up to a 90 degree, you're thinking about pushing that back down. The whole time, keep your core nice and tight, and this will stop that hunch going on in the back. So grab your ropes, get your arms so they're locked in by your torso, and then nice tight core and go. Good squeeze down and control it back. Good push, good squeeze here and control it back. Another thing you want to remember when you're doing these tricep push downs is keep your hands apart. So what you don't want to do is as you're coming down, have these rope ball things here locking in so your stronger arm is helping your weaker arm. You want both arms to work the same. Okay, as we go into the chest fly, you want to set your cables so they're chest height. The idea of this exercise is you want to work the chest muscle. So in order to make sure the chest muscle is doing all the work, you want to avoid leaning forward. If you lean forward, your shoulders are going to help. So throughout this exercise, you want to keep a nice tight core, chest nice and high. So the way I'm going to be standing throughout this is this kind of start. So my chest is going to be lifted up and I'm going to bring my arms out and I'm going to be pulling into the middle like this. If I stand with my feet together, as I'm doing a chest fly, I'll probably have a bit of swing in it. If you stagger your feet, that allows you to transfer the weight from the front to the back foot as you're doing the fly, because as you come back, you're going to want to really push into the back foot. As you come forward, you're going to want to transfer the weight slightly into the front foot in order to keep this torso nice and still and stop it from rocking backwards and forwards. So I'm going to grab the handles and I'm going to take a nice step forward here. I'm going to lift my rib cage nice and high, and I feel now I've got the right stance. Push my arms out in front of me, soft bend in my elbows, and I'm going to allow my arms to come back so I feel that they're level with my torso and squeeze back in again. Keeping my chest nice and high throughout this move will prevent the shoulders from taking over. So nice and tall, nice tight core, and squeeze the chest into the fly as you're pulling your hands forward. So this exercise is called the front raise, and what we're going to be doing here is working this part of the muscle, the anterior deltoid. So we're going to be holding the dumbbell, and you want to soft bend in your elbows so your arms are not straight like this. It'll put quite a lot of strain into your shoulder joint. So soft bend in your elbow, dumbbells in front of you, and then you're going to think about this muscle and really scoop the dumbbell up rather than just lifting the arms in a floppy motion. So think about keeping that control through the move. Really think about this muscle, contract it and pull your hands up You want to aim to come so your hands are level with your shoulders, and then you're going to lower them back down. Now, lowering them back down is part of the exercise, so don't allow your arms just to drop. You also want to get as much out of the lowering part, the eccentric part of this move, as you do the raising of the arms, the concentric part. Both up and down parts of this exercise are important to keep the muscle under the most contraction. Your tempo needs to be quite a steady one. If you go too fast, you might find you get a bit of momentum. And that's another thing. Don't allow your arms to swing past your body and swing back into the move. You want to come down, come to a complete stop, and then really engage this muscle and squeeze and lift your hands up. So grab your dumbbells, nice tight core. Again, avoid the swinging, and you're going to raise your hands up level to your shoulders and control them back down again. As soon as you come back down, straight back up. Back down, good squeeze, up, and control them down. Keep the core nice and tight throughout this move. So, and remember, you don't want this swinging into this. This is not going to make that muscle work. So lock your core in and lift your dumbbells up and control them back down. Following on from the front raise, we're going to do the lateral raise. So this is where we concentrate on the middle part of the shoulder muscle. So this time, we're going to bring the dumbbells out to the side. You want a slight bend in the arm. So you don't want your arm dead straight. So I always find that puts a lot of pressure in the shoulder joint. So just put a slight bend in that elbow, and then you're lifting the hands out and controlling them back down again. Again, with this, you want a nice tight core and avoid swinging. So you don't want to let your arms come up and swing back down. Be in control of the move on the way up and the way down. Now, when you do this one, if you can pause just briefly at the top, get a good squeeze in the shoulder, and then control the dumbbell back down. As soon as you come down, you don't want to rest here. So as soon as you come down, you're already thinking about pulling it back up again. And when you come up, you want to try and create this nice straight line from hand, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, elbow, hand. So you're coming up and your hands are even. So grab your dumbbells. You can either start this exercise with your hands beside you, and I actually like to do it with my hands in front. That way I get that nice natural curve in my elbow, and then from this position, we're just coming straight out and back down again. Pause here and control it down. Really think about the muscle. Squeeze into it here and control it back down. Remember with this one, do it swinging and no rocking in the body. Another thing you want to be careful with this exercise as well is, I call this flappy. So you don't want to flap your way through this exercise by bringing your hands higher than your elbow. This one is where your elbow is kind of leading, doing the lead. So you hold your dumbbells, and then your elbow is making the first move, so to speak. That way you'll create that nice straight arm as you come up. Watch yourself in the mirror, and you can watch your form here. If you feel that your hands start flapping, it means you're leading with your hands, so just go back, correct your form, and bring your elbows into it. Have the bench nice and flat through this exercise, and the feet are going to be planted firmly on the floor. When I do this exercise, I still like to put a bit of a natural arch in my back, nothing major, but just by doing it, I feel like I've got more kind of strength going through my legs here. So I feel when I've got that, I've got more control over the upper part of my body. If my back's flat, I feel like I'm a bit floppy, like I'm not really graced into the exercise. So I always like to keep this quite solid, nice tight core and legs quite solid throughout this move. Now you want to start with your arms upright, and you're going to be lowering the bar down to your top of your head, and then you're going to be pushing it back up again. The idea with this exercise is to make sure your elbows are pointing forward. They probably will naturally want to flare out at first. So just try and think about that form and keep your elbows pointing forward. And another thing to remember through this exercise is this upper arm you don't want it to sway backwards and forwards as you're doing the move. So you want to keep the upper arm locked. So bar's coming down, pushing up, and then controlling it back down again. You want to hold your bar, so when your hands are up, they're just inside shoulder width apart. So if you hold them quite wide, you might feel it puts quite a lot of pressure in your elbow joint. So I'm going to be using an easy bar for this exercise. So an easy bar, as you can see, is not a straight bar. It's got the V's in it, which basically this is easier for grip, so you can play around with where it feels comfortable for your wrist. Your palms want to be facing down as you grab the bar, and then bring it in close to your tummy, roll yourself back, get your stance on your bench, feet firmly on the floor, push your bar up, lock those upper arms in, and I always pop my thumbs just beside my palm, arms nice and tall, and then controlling the bar down and back up again. Now as you do this one, you really want to think about the muscle that you're working, which is your tricep, and here is where you're going to get the most contraction in it, so control it down. If you let this drop down, you're going to give yourself a headache, so control the bar down and really push back up again. And really contract the muscle and squeeze into it. Now at this point, this is why I like that nice arched back, because I can really squeeze my core, and this allows me to keep the control through the upper arms. I feel if I was a bit flat back here and just flopping this down, I feel that'd be a lot harder to keep that bar still. So up, nice and firm through the feet, lock your upper arms in, control it down, and good squeeze in the triceps and push the bar away from you. When you finish, just bring the bar down onto your tummy and roll yourself back up again. Doing this in the gym, you don't feel quite ready to get the easy bar out. The alternative is doing it with the dumbbells. So same position for the upper body, bring yourself down, dumbbells close to your body as you come down. Position yourself so your weights go through the upper part of your back, feet firmly on the floor, dumbbells go up above your head. Same principle applies, upper arms don't move, but this time you're just lowering the dumbbells down and pushing away. Control them down. I always do it so if I'm doing it with the dumbbells will pass beside my head rather than on my forehead. That allows me to get nice and deep here and then push away. So another way of doing this skull crusher if you're not ready to use the easy bar. Okay, we're going to finish this push exercise with the push-ups. So when you do good push-up, lock your core in nice and tight. Have a nice level body. Sometimes I do lose this when I'm doing it, when I get tired. But try and keep your body flat throughout, and you want your fingers facing forward. As you come down, you want your elbows coming back towards your hips, and you want to keep your weight over top of your hands. So I've got a nice straight line from shoulder to hands. Arms on fire, already shaking, and then lock yourself in, bring yourself down and push yourself back into your push-up. Now, if you find these really hard, an alternative way of doing the push-up is to do it on your knees. So, same principle applies. You want to put your weight over top of your hands. So your hands are underneath your shoulder. Bring your feet up off the floor because you're going to be rocking on your knees. So, if you find that you're not rocking on your knees, you're potentially doing this, which you're not really putting any kind of pressure through the arms at all. And the idea is you want to get used to lifting your body weight. So when you first start doing push-ups, to be quite honest, it doesn't really matter how far you come down. If you can't do a push-up at all, just come down until you feel you're about to lose it and then push back into it. And as you go through these push-ups, you can work on your depth, and as you get more confident, you can just try and go lower. But if you can't do them when you're as a plank and you want to try and start doing the push-ups, start in this position, just come down a little bit at first and just aim to increase that depth as you get stronger. But you want to make sure you are rocking on your knees so your weight is actually going through your hands and you're not just doing this kind of bounce through your arms here. Okay. If a normal push-up is a bit too easy and you want to add a bit of resistance to it, get a weight, shove it on your back, and go for it. Not today. That is the push workout. So I always do this workout too, and if you're going to start doing this, first of all, you can try with like 10 reps. 10 reps is always good, and 3 sets. And then as you get stronger, you can increase your sets. So go up to your 4 sets, go up to your 5 sets. You can increase your reps up to about 12, but to be honest, do more than 12 reps and you think you can get 15 reps of anything, then you want to increase your weight rather than increasing your reps. Increasing the reps and doing lots of reps will be really good for endurance, but if you wanted to build muscle, you want to increase your weight rather than the reps. So increasing the weight, so as you're doing any form of exercise, 7 should feel quite tough, 8, 9 and 10. Barely get them out, but at the same time you don't want to lose your form. So you don't want to be lifting so heavy that you completely lose your form with 8, like reps 8, 9 and 10. That means your weight's too heavy, so you need to just drop your weight down. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with when you're doing an exercise if you have to reduce your weight as your sets go on. So sometimes I'll start tricep pushdown is a good one. So probably like set 3, and I start finding that difficult and I find my arms are moving, then I'll usually reduce my weight a little bit. My muscles are getting fatigued, so it's not like I'm trying to prove anything. I've got my muscles where I want them to be. They're tired, they're fatigued. The idea is just keeping that muscle contracting and releasing again, and that's how you're going to get the muscle fibres to destroy. Have fun with the exercises. I hope you enjoy it and look forward to seeing you soon.